would throw them all for a loop. But I would say out of all, if I was to pick, I would pick Sonia. And then honestly, I would throw in somebody like a Tinsley, a Kelly, or I mean, dare I say Aviva, honestly, like just to really like watching Kelly on Legacy made me realize she just is this, she's sandpaper. And I think actually Kelly would be
I 100% agree. I was thrilled. Okay, I was like sitting on pins and needles because I thought for sure, sorry guys, Gigi wants to cooperate and speak as well. I thought that Jenna Lyons probably wasn't going to come back because she definitely made some comments that made it seem like, oh, she ain't coming back. And I felt like she was a super valuable asset to this new team, even though people are like, oh, she doesn't give enough or whatever. I'm like, what are you talking about? She gave us a lot. She gave us her personal uncomfortableness with herself. She gave us her personal history, like with her mother and like the weirdness of that, her coming out story. Like I felt like she did give us a lot. And also she just looks great. And I know people were mad at her for those jeans on the reunion, but I thought she looked sexy and great. And I loved it. And it felt like New York to me. And obviously I don't live there, but I've been there quite a bit over my life. And I don't know. I like all of the women. And like you said, I'm a Sai fan way back. She was one of my Instagram faves back in the day when I used to host a fashion podcast. But wait, are we supposed to talk about who we want to bring in yet? I don't remember. But I'm just glad everybody.
Courtney, you do whatever you want. You're always in charge.
I don't remember if we're there yet. But if we want to sprinkle some of the legacy in, I've said this before. I think that Sonia would be a good sprinkle in, just because I think Sonia and Dorinda would be good sprinkles, and maybe the Countess. I don't know. One of them might need to just be a friend because that's a whole lot of women. But I think that it would be cool to give a little bit more of a nucleus in terms of age, closer to Jenna, so that Jenna doesn't feel totally like I'm like the old one and these women are much younger, even though they're not that much younger, because Sai is in her 40s, and Bree and them are like later 30s, and I think Erin is the youngest, and she's still like mid 30s, early 30s. But I would like to see, I think Dorinda could be interesting, and I think that Sonia could be interesting, and I think the Countess would be a good sprinkle as well. So if we're picking some of those or all of them, I think those three would be the three that I would play with.
I love all that. And going off what Courtney was saying, Jenna didn't give anything or enough. She showed the inside of her mouth. Like, I don't know what else you need to see.
Her teeth out, and like, it was real.
Anyway, so I want to talk about, who of the old, Jesse, you could weigh in on who of the old cast members that you would like to see join if they kind of do that. And even if there's cast members who, well, essentially they wouldn't be cast members, but who, New York
of
women,
any of the.
Yeah. Do you have any opinions on that?
I mean, I agree. I feel like Sonia would be great. I think Luann could work. I don't know about them together because then I feel like it's almost like they're too cartoony together in comparison to the other girls. But I think it would be really interesting. Dorinda would throw them all for a loop. But I would say out of all, if I was to pick, I would pick Sonia. And then honestly, I would throw in somebody like a Tinsley, a Kelly, or I mean, dare I say Aviva, honestly, like just to really like watching Kelly on Legacy made me realize she just is this, she's sandpaper. And I think actually Kelly would be, for me, a better fit, like not a better fit in a good way, but like it would be an interesting fit to see her with these women, this group of women. I want to see Sonia because I just love Sonia and Luann, but I almost feel like they're too cartoonish and animated in comparison to this cast, where Kelly, I feel like the drama and the butting of the heads would be from such a different energy. And that to me would be interesting.
You do make a good point about Sonia, Dorinda, and Luann. While they will be great because they know how to make great TV, they almost know how to do it too well. As whereas when you see Kelly create good TV, you're just like on a journey. You know, I mean, her talking with Kristen and sort of being like unbothered, but like, no, like I'm okay, I'm good. Like she's just the most bothered, but also unbothered. But I low key stand her as well. Like it's like my mind is going going in several.
Like, can you
spaces.
imagine Jenna's side eyes to her in every episode?
Yeah, oof. I just feel like
I don't want to. We don't want to
Kelly
see
is
her. I know.
she's on Mars, like, and they are all on
Oh, it's a
Earth.
hard no for you, really.
It's a hard no with Kelly because I feel like Kelly is incapable of actually connecting in real circumstance, and I think they are way too real for her. Like it would be too, it just wouldn't, they would just never, like, I just feel like that bridge could never be drawn. And I know that, like, I totally agree that Sonia, if Luann also was there, like it's a whole cartoon situation. But I do think that Sonia showed us when Ebony was on the show that she can ground herself and be open
Yes.
to what's not her normal life, so to speak. And I think that that would be more interesting to watch, which is why I was like, Luann maybe can pop in. I don't know that I want to see her all the time because I do agree, like them together might be too much. But I mean, Kelly is.
But now that you bring Ebony up, actually, Ebony I could see with this group, and I feel like it wouldn't be as trying to, you know, like where everyone was saying like Ebony's trying to teach every episode or whatever. I feel like it would feel, I mean, she's on a show with, again, cartoon character, women who know how to play the game, and Ebony's coming in as this authentic person. That's what this cast gives me. They give me more down to earth, authentic energy. And that's where the mess of Kelly to me would be interesting, but I also could see Ebony on the show. Yeah.
I mean, I would like to see Ebony get her due on Housewives because I don't think she got a fair shot, and it might be interesting. But I also understand that if it's, I don't know that she bridges the gap when they're not actually friends, because I feel like if Ebony was going to be involved, if they had built the new reboot around Ebony, I think that might have been better because Ebony is a real chick, and like I don't know that she wants to or would dive into this well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, would she even want to do it? Obviously,
Right,
great
no.
platform, but I feel like if that ever did become a thing of conversation, yeah, like her own series. I mean, just out of sake of shows that have already been on the air, like a reboot of Blood, Sweat, and Heels or something, like something where she's the driving force. Because it just feel like too many opinions were from that season 13. And it would be hard for her to get in there unless she wants to do it, you know. What are some of the other older, former rather cast members? Carpenter Barbara, who's on Ozempic, would she make a good fill-in? Have you seen how small she is?
No,
she got the little bobblehead. Oh, skinny little thing. She can't even pick up the hammer no more.
Oh my god.
Well, anyways,
about like Heather Thompson?
Heather seems to drive people nuts, but
that's the thing. I feel like that's the thing with like someone like a her or a Kelly, in the sense of they don't have that. Because again, I know it's coming across like I'm saying like this clownness, cartoonness, but like there's this roughness to them of like not authentic. Like Kelly is authentic. She's authentically like
a mess.
Yeah. But I think that is what almost for me, because would spice the show up and actually make the group of the girls a little maybe stronger, because now they have a new person to be like, what the heck? This girl is out of her damn mind. I don't know.
I feel like no matter what they do, they should run a block. And I usually don't like blocks too much because it's too much of the same kind of programming. However, Carol Radswell will never come back to the show.
I know, but I love
her. I want her to do a People's Couch by herself. Just but no other person. She doesn't even have to bathe. Like, I just want Carol's off the cuff reaction to the silliness that is season 16, because I feel like it's going to be good.
I want to be on the couch with Carol having that conversation.
Done.
love her.
We'll talk about a couple other things, but
And
I was going to ask you guys, when the announcement came out that there was going to be the 6 returning full-time cast members, we were excited. And of course, we were just playing there with those fake taglines. Hope you enjoyed it. We're talking about, like, you know, legacy cast members coming back, and we kind of brought up some names. Do you guys have any newbies that you feel would be good? I wrote a list of just a couple. These are the similar ones I usually always mention anyway. I'll name mine, and then if you guys have some newbies you think would be good for the show, shout them out. So for Real Housewives of New York season 16, if they do bring in some newbies, I've said for a couple years, I think the city's Olivia Palermo would be good, because she does have like a certain, well, with, you know, with the fashion, and she's kind of got a sternness about her, and she's not necessarily like, she won't necessarily be, she'll just be stuffy. And sometimes you need somebody to be very stuffy and very confident and very headstrong. So I would like to see Olivia Palermo. Cece Sabathia was a Yankee. His wife, Amber Sabathia, she seems to be mixing and mingling and doing a lot of things. And she does a lot of really positive events for the community too. And Cece, you know, such a Yankee, I feel like that's a nice little tie-in. I mean, he's retired, but nonetheless. And then this one is a little bit, let's just try. Because it seems like she's back on the East Coast now. Adrienne Bailon, do we feel like she's too young?
no, she's
I don't
in
think she's too young, but
she's in Brynn, Sai age bracket. She's late 30s. I wouldn't be mad at that, but I'm not excited about that.
Is it too much of an outside identity coming into a show, and you kind of rather not know the people as much?
it
Not
only
necessarily. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was
No,
gonna
go
say
ahead.
for me it is because she has such a hosting personality. Like I feel like that's just how she is all the time. And again, what I like about this group of girls, and kind of in the same vein of Sonia and like Luann, I feel like she would bring in this energy, like me, like, and it's like, okay, like almost like she's been in TV for so long, she knows how to guide a scene. Like for me, that would be my worry with her and the energy that she would bring. Where these women, it feels more grounded, and I'm excited to kind of be in the grassroots of figuring out what their relationship and dynamic is going to be like. I feel like with Adrienne, that's why it wouldn't excite me.
I feel that, but I would like, because I'm not totally like against like a name, so to speak, because honestly, this may be like crazy, wildly unpopular, but like I would like to see like a Bevy Smith alongside
That's been mentioned, yeah.
Alongside Jenna, because they're in the same age bracket, but also bring and like in the fashion world for different reasons, but like super big personalities that will like, I just feel like Bevy would bring Harlem to it and the full blackness to it that isn't quite there, even though obviously we're black and, you know, size Puerto Rican, but like it gives it rounds out the New York City-ness for me. And I just feel like she's fun and her energy would be cool to see her interact, and she would not be able to be herself, even though she obviously be in the industry. And I feel like she would, you know, tell the girls and read the girls and enjoy herself and show the girls another side as well. And I would like Bevy and Sonia to join the cast. Those are my 2 choices.
Bevy's been a great choice, but I feel like I've heard her say she wouldn't want to do a show like that.
I'm pretty sure she has.
You know, and that's that same thing with Jenna. It's like when you have these higher tier, you know, successful women coming into the show, at least what the show used to be. I feel like New York is interesting because, at least so far, we're not doing all of the drama based on like what was coming from a blog or like a husband's, you know, infidelity that we didn't know about, and then he was embezzling money. Like, it's just, the show has gotten so much that you're losing the chance at getting really quality women, and Bevy is that. And so maybe Jenna really kind of opened up that door to make, you know, there could be some comfort, because I don't think going into it, if you were Bevy being approached, I don't think, what was it, season 15 last year? I don't think Bevy would look at that show. I don't think she'd want to do that show because it was a mess. But then the season that we just had, and it's starting to be elevated a little bit, you just get a better chance at a better group of women, not thirsty. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
outstanding.
Accomplished women about, and it's not just like drunk middle-aged women on the Upper East Side showing how, which is, look, I actually think on some levels that's still revolutionary, and that's another whole conversation. But I do think it is now more about accomplished women living their lives in New York and being professional, but also being dynamic and interesting and fun and doing things. And it's not just about, oh, I married a count. Oh, I'm trying to, whatever. So I don't know. I think it's a space where she would fit now, even if the check was right. I bet Miss Bibby would consider.
Oh, well, that's a different story. I liked last season, even though I don't know how authentic some of the things were per se, but like you would have, so and so going to this jeweler and this one going to, a showroom for this, clothing line or whatever. Like there was just a lot of movement that we haven't had on really any of these shows. I am tired. I'm almost tired of vacations, by the way, on the the 3-episode vacation. Like I felt like there was a lot of movement, and I think that is such an important thing for all reality TV, but specifically New York. I mean, I think Jessel, she went to one of her friends, and that was a designer, and it's just so on and so forth. They almost all up the ante on fashion, which I just thought was like so put on the back burner for. And mind you, I love Sonia being as silly as she wants to be, but that was just all we were getting. It's like, we get it. She can be drunk. And so
exactly.
like we've seen it once, we've seen it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Jesse, what do you think? Any cast members that you have in your head that would be perfect for the show?
No, because I would want like serious people. Like I would love to actually scout that for real. So in my mind, jokingly, I was like, I could see like throwing in a not Julia Fox, but an Amy Robach. Is that the one with the
Amy Robach with TJ Holmes? Why would that be low-key perfect?
I would
feel
watch.
like her energy, it would be a good storyline too, because they're still dealing with the divorce and the separation, but then the togetherness, and it's a way for them to have some sort of platform where then it would be interesting to see how she is as a girl's girl and age-wise, and she's had a career for a long time, and he would be I'm sure want to be very involved in it, in that aspect, almost like he'd be like the young Peter Thomas of it.
You cast Amy so you get TJ on the show. Yes, I see that.
Yes, so I would say out of without knowing, because I would love a new a young model or somebody who's out here really doing it. I would love it to be a woman of color. But off the top of my head, because I don't really pay attention to New York influences like that, so I would think entertainment wise, mine would be Amy.
Yeah. And I do like what you're saying. And it's funny because I mentioned Olivia Palermo from The City and Adrienne Bailon. My choice of Amber Sabathia made sense just because the movement, she dusts up a lot of noise in a really positive way, but she's not a name yet. And I really do feel like that's what made the show so good. We didn't know Brynn. I mean, you knew Sai, Courtney, but we didn't really know them.
Because she didn't speak, so we didn't even know what her voice sounded like. It's just
right, or the husband or whatever. So I think it would be cool to be in that casting process to bring some newbies, some just fresh stories. But if we had to do some mess, Amy Robach would be, because are they ever going to get back to the cachet that they once had? You know what I mean? Are they ever going to? I mean, I always want, and I love a Larsa Pippen, reality TV, icon. But they were interviewing Larsa. Wait, no, Courtney, not yet.
Courtney, you should go watch his. You should watch his first. You should watch his whole. He has a whole episode for Larsa.
Oh,
I go in detail. But my point is, imagine you are. I mean, I'm only going off Jesse coming up with a great idea. They can't seem to navigate back into the space they once were. And okay, fine, they go do their passion project, their podcast. You would think it was on a certain level. Now they got Tom Schwartz, so they're talking about Vanderpump Rules. They got, as much as I like Larsa, they're talking about Larsa. it's just
Nobody
kind of
cares.
lower. Nobody cares. Yeah.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. It was interesting when it broke, and then they are horrible people because of what they did, and then they're just going back to being regular people because they're not on TV anymore. Nobody cares.
Yeah, but when you lose a
But
whole
people
career,
would care if they were on. People would
If they
care
come back and get
if
like
they
a
did
Housewives.
a Real Housewives. It would be, and to me, that's the only out of all the Housewives franchises
No.
that would. I mean, that's because
'Cause
obviously they live there, but I couldn't see them on Jersey or
and nobody's listening to their podcast for real. Well, let me stop. I don't know who's listening to their podcast. Let me shut up.
well, they said it was a passion project, so that should tell you everything you need
That's
to know.
bullshit. It was another option because you got fired, and so you're trying to capitalize on this mess, and you capitalize for what the first 2 episodes on the mess because they like talked about it in a fight, and then it's like, okay, yeah, let's interview Sandoval.
And I don't want too much drama to go on for them because of the journalists that they once were. But you do got to think, you said young Peter Thomas, you do got to think that if the show was casted with Amy, and then let's say the numbers didn't do good that season, you've got to think that TJ at some point would say, well, let me give a call to Brynn. Start some maneuvering with Brynn.
I feel like it don't take the show for him to do that.
Yeah,
because the word on the street about TJ was that TJ is fun.
Oh damn!
And
he's
Amy,
fun. He's fun and fine. So you know what I mean.
Fun and fine, child. And Amy done gave up her whole career and her husband for a fun man.
Damn,
Mauricio.
Oh man, this show is a mess. That's all I got. Do you guys have any other opinions for season 16? This was just a really fun, talking about taglines. Let us know in the comments what would be your tagline for these cast members for season 16. Which of the legacy cast members do you want to see come back to the show, if that's going to happen? And is there anyone out there that really doesn't have like that gigantic household name, but is kind of doing something well, has a wonderful story arc, because it's not about storylines. It's about a story arc. Thinking back, like with the Heather Thompson, I always thought Heather at least had a lot going on in her life. And I kind of like cast members like that. Oh, damn. Damn.
I know she made the other version of Spanx, but what was happening? I don't remember nothing about Heather except she annoyed everybody.
I knew I should have ended that sentence like that.
I just remember the cat meme.
Oh,
wasn't that Heather with the salad?
Throwing her leg on the table had more going on.
Oh, that was funny. That was so funny. So Aviva is
bring Amy in. Let's spice the show up.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Jesse said, casting director extraordinaire, Amy Roebuck and TJ Holmes.
Hey, Ronnie Jr.